All right, y'all. We are going to finish this one out after an absolutely brutal bottom of the eighth inning for the Texas Rangers. Oh, my goodness. That one hurt. That one hurt. We're going to break down everything here in just a second. Thank you to all of you that are returning and have been with us for a little while here as we break down every Rangers game post game. But for anyone that's new here right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a little bit of an extra emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. And let's just get right into this one. So, Rangers for a long time in this game led 3-1, and things were looking pretty good up until really, I would say the seventh inning, right? The seventh inning came along. It was 3-1. I thought there was a very, very questionable decision made by Bruce Bochy, and I really don't care what the reasons are for it. So on X, I saw a few different Rangers reporters, people that follow the team, talk about Tinoco and how he may be DFA'd or maybe getting sent down and that's a reason why they're trying to use him. I just have no idea why you use Tinoco at all today. This is a game that you're trying to win. You're trying to win this ball game. It's 3-1, and you're bringing in Tinoco. I just thought that that was a terrible decision. Robertson hasn't pitched in a week, and I know Robertson gives up the 3-run bomb that now makes it 5-3. But if it's me, I want Robertson in a clean inning. You could have gone Robertson 2 innings there, seventh inning, eighth inning. You could have gone Robertson seventh, Yates eighth, and ninth. Neither one of those dudes has pitched in like a week. And you have two off days coming up in the next 6 days. You've got Monday off and you got Thursday off. I thought it was ridiculous that you let Jesus Tinoco come in and get basically one out, two runners on, and then you make Robertson come in a jam in the middle of a mess. Ridiculous. I know Bruce Bochy got ejected alone for the decision to bring in Tinoco out of the game, please. That was a terrible decision. I do not care at all what the reasoning is for it. This team is struggling to win ball games, and you're putting Tinoco out there in a 2-run game expecting things to go well. Tinoco is not a major league pitcher. Why on earth you even wanted him in this game or anywhere close to it is beyond me. So I put I don't want to say everything on Bochy tonight, but I put a big amount of this loss on Bochy. There's no reason you needed to give the Twins a run in the bottom of the seventh. I know that we get the home run by Kirilov there in the bottom of the eighth inning. But you never know how things change when it's a 3-1 lead versus a 3-2 lead. Robertson didn't have his best stuff today. And you can live with Robertson blowing the game. I don't like that we gave a free run to the Twins by putting in Tinoco. I don't love that at all. And we're still live here, by the way. We've got one out here in the top of the ninth. Duran is on to finish out this game. We got Nate Lowe up right now. Leody just grounded out to the first baseman. Leody has swung a great bat today. I got to give props to Leody. 2 for 4, and Leody's been mashing it. Even one of his outs today was a ball that was absolutely blasted, and the Twins just played it perfectly. Leody sent one deep into the right center field gap. Twins were positioned very well, and the right fielder made a great play. Looks like Nate Lowe is grounding out to the pitcher right now, so the Rangers are down to their final out, and they will have Jonah Heim up to see if he can get a little 2-out rally going. I just still am just absolutely confounded at the move to put in Tinoco in a 2-run game. The Rangers have won one game in their last, 9 or 10? Why are you even messing around with Tinoco? Why? You give them a free run in the bottom of the seventh. I don't care that the home run happens in the bottom of the eighth, anyways. You don't know how the game changes if it's 3-1 going into the bottom of the eighth versus 3-2. I think that's a big difference. You pitch differently with the 3-1 lead versus a 3-2 lead. 3-1 lead, you know that a home run doesn't beat you. You're pitching a little bit differently. You just are out there. In a one-run game, you are being more careful with your pitches, more selective. I think that's the reason why Robertson walks a couple of guys in the bottom of that 8th inning. You're trying to be too selective. You know you have a fine margin of error. If you've got a 2-run lead, it's 3-1 going into the bottom of the 8th. You might approach those hitters a little bit differently. So for me, Bochy's decision to go Tinoco there, one of the big reasons why they lost this game today. And look, hopefully they can get a little rally with 2 outs here. Got the game up right here, kind of side by side with all y'all. So we'll let you know. But Duran's pumping 100 miles an hour past Jonah Heim right now. It's 0-2 with 2 outs. Rangers down 2. It's not looking promising at this point. This is a real tough loss. It is definitely a tougher loss knowing the Rangers did not throw their best out there today. Look, I know Robertson comes in, but you got to go Robertson 2 innings there, 7th, 8th. I have no idea why you bring in Tinoco in a game that you need to win. I'm sorry. This is a must-win game. They're on a 6-game losing streak now as Jonah Heim strikes out on a ball about a foot above the zone. You're on a 6-game losing streak. You were up 2 runs going into the 7th inning. There's no excuse to lose this game. 0. And to bring in Tinoco is just an absolutely terrible decision. Now, are there other things that we can look at as reasons why the Rangers lost today? 100%. Were the Rangers, though, in a position to win the game and then a terrible coaching decision to put a terrible reliever into the game? Did it cost them a little? Yes, it did. So I don't know what the mindset is. I don't even care what Bruce Bochy's answer is after the game of why Tinoco was even warming up or touching a baseball today. I don't even care what the reason was. The answer is he didn't need to pitch today. This is the one game you've got a chance to win. And it's been a while since we were even in a ball game late like this. So look, I know I've been going on for a while about this move by Bochy. And look, I've questioned manager decisions by Bochy in the past. Not a ton. I know Bochy is kind of known as a mastermind of the bullpen. I don't even care what the reason is today. Tinoco did not need to be even at the ballpark today. Seriously, there's no reason you needed to use Tinoco today unless we were losing by 10 runs and you just needed an innings eater. If we were losing by 10 or up by 10, I understand Tinoco being in the game. Just eat up some innings and please don't make this any more embarrassing either way than it already is. But to put him in a save situation, what are we doing? We're on a 5-game losing streak right now. We need a win badly. So for me, that was the turning point of the game. And you know the Twins are sitting around. What is Tinoco doing in this game? Thank goodness. You're gonna bring in Tinoco after Lorenzen has just been absolutely shutting us down. Thank you. That's what I'd be saying if I was in the Twins dugout. What are they doing? Why are they bringing in Tinoco? This is awesome. Lorenzen's been shutting us down and mowing us down left and right the whole game. They're bringing in Tinoco. Thank you. You know that's what the Twins were saying across the dugout. That's exactly how I'd be feeling. I'm getting dominated by this starter, and now they're going to bring in one of their worst relievers in a tight game. You know that boosted the Twins. You know it did. So look, I don't even care. Again, I'm not even watching Bochy's interview after the game. And hopefully somebody's gonna ask him the hard question. Why Tinoco there, Boch? Why? And look, it doesn't even matter what the answer is. It didn't need to happen. You could have gone Leclerc in the 7th. You could have gone Robertson 7th and 8th. And even though Robertson gives up the bomb in the bottom of the 8th, the reality is it's a differently pitched inning. If in the bottom of the 8th, it's a 3-1 lead versus a 3-2 lead. And I'm sorry. I think Robertson comes in the bottom of the 7th and probably shuts down the Twins. I think he did a pretty nice job getting out of a jam. It was what, first and second, one out, and only one run comes across, got to give him props. But those are more stressful pitches than if you just bring Robertson in. And you know what? With the Lorenzen injury, you easily could have let Robertson just do his thing out there and take as long as he needed to warm up. That's what happened with Tinoco. When a guy's injured, you get as long as you need. So I'm not buying the excuse either of we didn't want Robertson to not go through his normal routine out there. He gets as long as he needs to warm up. So I don't want to hear any excuses for why Robertson wasn't coming in for Lorenzen after the injury. None. This was a game that the coaching staff, in my opinion, choked away. No reason for Tinoco to even come close to a game like this where there's a 2-run lead. Disgusting decision. Disgusting. I can't even imagine what the Rangers players out there were thinking. If you're in a 3-1 game on a 5-game losing streak and you've got one of the worst relievers coming into the game, all those Rangers players on the field know that he's not good. I mean, when you're on a baseball team, you know who your guys are, and you know the guys that suck and are terrible and that you don't want to see coming into a game. Look, we're all good teammates. We all cheer people on, and you know that all the Rangers players are going to put on a good face about it. But you also know when the coach brings in a dude that's not good, you know that feeling. And you know that the Rangers players were probably feeling that today. What? We're bringing in Tinoco in a 2-run ball game? Are you kidding me? I just don't even get it, y'all. I'm gonna probably have to bring it up again. It's just confounding to me why you would bring him into this game. I think it changed the whole vibe of the game. The Twins, you know that they perked up when they saw him coming in, and you know that some of the Rangers players slumped. You know they saw Tinoco out there in the bullpen warming up, or at least he probably wasn't even warming up, right? I was listening on the radio to the game, probably wasn't even warming up. But you know when they saw Bochy call for Tinoco, after the Lorenzen injury, you know there was some slumping going on that Rangers team out there on the field. 100%. Yeah, I don't know what the Lorenzen injury is. Somebody's asking about the Lorenzen injury from YouTube. What's up, Natalie, by the way? I don't know what the Lorenzen injury is. I think that's still going to be to be determined. He did throw some warm-up pitches and then kind of walked around the mound. Hopefully, it's just a precautionary thing. And that's a good segue, honestly. For me, it's no longer dumb luck. There needs to be some deeper dives into why are all these Rangers pitchers getting injured? I did see a comment today on X, and so I can't say that this is 100% my thought because I know other people are thinking this too. But I have been wondering what is up with our training staff that we can't keep these pitchers healthy? I'm not sitting around anymore saying this is just dumb luck. This isn't dumb luck. There's a reason why all these pitchers are getting injured. The recovery clearly is an issue. I mean, I have no idea what it is. And you know that there's not a lot of people that are willing to ask these questions. And you know, if they did ask, if the media asked questions to the Rangers, they just shut them down. Oh, they're the best. They're awesome. We love them. It's just tough luck. It's a part of the game, blah, blah, blah. For me, this isn't dumb luck or coincidence anymore. It's not dumb luck or coincidence that every single pitcher is getting injured. There's going to be some people that continue to just say that when it rains, it pours. It's just tough luck. Oh, yeah, they're just so unlucky. The World Series hangover, blah, blah, blah. All the cliches. Who's looking into the training staff? Why are we not keeping these guys healthy? I'd like the questions to be asked. I know that there's probably 5 plus, probably close to 10 pitcher injuries so far this year. That's ridiculous. And you look at other major league teams, they're not having these problems. We're going to say that this many pitchers getting injured is just dumb luck. What are we doing in this training staff with the recovery of these pitchers, the regimens that they have? What are we doing that's causing this many injuries? That's how I feel at this point. I'm not willing to say it's just dumb luck anymore. And if the Rangers are a good medical staff and a good training staff, they're doing some reflection on that right now. Where could we be better? Why are so many of our guys getting hurt? Because if the Rangers medical staff and training staff is just sitting around saying it's dumb luck, that's a problem. That's a problem. They need to be doing a lot of reflection on why all these guys continue to get hurt, because this is way too many. It's a ridiculous number of injuries. It's absolutely ridiculous that we have got this many players hurt. So, look, maybe at the end of the day, it's a great regimen, it's a great training staff, it's a great medical staff, and it's truly just terrible luck. But if the Rangers themselves are not reflecting on what they could be doing better to keep all of these players healthy, I think that that's a crime. It's a crime. Like, you have got to be getting down into the analysis of what's going on here. Why are this many pitchers coming out of our games with injuries? Now, look, on the position side, you look at a guy like Josh Young, he got hit by a pitch. That's not training staff fault. Now we do have some injuries yet, like Wyatt Langford, the hamstring injury, those kinds of things. I can't fault anybody for the Josh Young injury. Dude got hit by a fastball on his wrist. There's not much that you are going to be doing about something like that. But the pitching, 100%, I hope that they are doing some kind of analysis on the medical side. Where could we be better in our recovery program for these pitchers, in our training regimen, strengthening these guys' arms, increasing endurance? I know that they've got to be doing some reflecting. And I know that that front office has got to be fired up about it too. They're never going to tell us. And I guarantee if any media people ask the Rangers, all they're going to do is defend their guys, rightfully so. But the questions need to be asked. Have you guys done any reflecting on possibly what could be done better on the recovery side, on the injury prevention side of things when it comes to the medical and training staff? That's a totally legitimate question. Now, you know that there's some Rangers media people that don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They travel together, they're tight together. So you know that there are some Rangers media people that simply aren't going to ask these questions because they're tight with the Rangers medical staff and staff in general. They're not going to ask hard questions. They're going to try and be as nice with their questioning as possible. But somebody should be asking. This is a ridiculous amount of pitcher injuries. I'm so tired of seeing Rangers starters leave the game. This is back-to-back days now. You had Urania leave the game yesterday. You have, and he was hit with the pitch. And I don't know if the leg was just the only reason or if there was something else going on. So you've got Urania leaving yesterday, and you got Lorenzen leaving today. It's too much. So I hope that there's some reflection going on internally on what could be done better to prevent and to help pitchers recover better after their starts and in between starts. It's too much for me to just keep saying dumb luck, rains it pours, World Series hangover, and all the other excuses that you can throw out there. They got to start looking inwardly on why this many pitchers are getting hurt. I surely would be if I was in that front office, if I was in the ownership circle. Ray Davis, you got to be asking those questions. What are you guys doing that this many people are getting hurt? The saddest part, though, is it's not even the pitching that's the problem. Look, today, I think Bochy put them in a terrible spot putting in Tinoco. Thought it was absolutely terrible. Robertson does give up a homer, and he wasn't as sharp as he needed to be today. That is the reality. Robertson, he gives up the bomb. I said, I think if Robertson were to come in a clean inning in the seventh, it might change his entire outing. But I really, really feel like today, you kind of have to say after Robertson gets out of that jam and it's 3-2 going into the bottom of the eighth, I feel like you kind of have to say we threw our best out there and it didn't go great. We threw our best. Robertson's our best. Yates is our best. We threw both those guys today and it didn't work out. I do think if you throw Robertson in the bottom of the seventh instead of bringing in Tinoco, who gets automatically first two batters on, like, what were you expecting? What were you expecting there? I think every Rangers fan knew that when Tinoco came in, that trouble was coming. I don't know unless there's just I know there are some Rangers fans that are just eternal optimists. Look, I like to be glass half full guy too, but I'll be straight up. When Tinoco came in, I thought to myself, this isn't going to end well. Maybe we'll end up getting out of this, but what a terrible decision. Terrible. On a 5-game losing streak when the game was winnable. Now, let's get on the Rangers offense a little bit because the Rangers did slowly tack on. They got runs in 3 consecutive innings in the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, but the Rangers not able to get any insurance late in the seventh, eighth, ninth. We have talked about on this show how the Rangers do struggle sometimes to get those insurance runs. It would have been nice to tack on in the seventh, eighth, or ninth inning and get further distance from the Twins. Now, I will say this Alex Kirilloff, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who cares if I'm not? The dude hit a homer last night. And I need to go back and see what the pitch was that Kirilloff takes deep for the 3-run bomb. But it looks like, let me see pitch by pitch here. So look, you just have to tip your hat to Kirilloff. I wish I could put the pitch that he hit for a home run up on the screen, but he hit a slider almost a foot below the zone out for a home run. You tip your cap. When a dude is hitting a pitch that's nearly a foot below the zone, a slider off speed pitch for a 3-run bomb, you got to tip your cap. That's not a center cut pitch by Robertson. That's actually a really good pitch by Robertson, and it's just a better hit. So I can't really fault Robertson too much in this game or get too mad at him. How many games has Robertson won for us? I mean, wasn't it like he had pitched in like 14 or 15 games at one point and Robertson was like undefeated? We were undefeated when Robertson pitched. It was like 14 games. We were 14-0 or something when Robertson pitched. I'm not going to get on David Robertson. And as I look at the pitch that Alex Kirilloff takes for a home run, a slider a foot below the zone that he golfs out of the stadium, I mean, tip your cap. That to me, I can't get mad at David Robertson. I think it's frustrating that we brought him in a jam after Jesus Tinoco comes in and pretty much just gives up. Gives up immediately 2 bases, gets a strikeout, fortunately, and then Robertson has to come on with 2 on and 1 out and clean up the mess. Those are stressful pitches. It's sad that Tinoco even gets a hold in this situation. My goodness. So we threw our best today. I didn't love all the decision making along the way, but we threw our best out there and they beat us. That is what you have to say for today. There are some absolutely frustrating moves along the way, but we threw our best today and they beat us. So that is the reality of what happened. Alex Kirilloff takes a slider almost a foot below the zone out for a homer. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? My only complaint is Bruce Bochy. Why are you even letting Tinoco come close to this game? Ridiculous. He should have been ejected for that terrible decision alone. So frustrating to me. And I don't even care what the excuse is for why he's in the game. You have got 2 off days coming. Absolutely ridiculous. You got 2 off days coming up, Monday and Thursday. No reason to be throwing any scrubs in a tight game. We have recovery days built in. It is all good. They can throw a little bit more, knowing that Monday is an off day and Thursday is an off day. Yeah. Bochy totally botched this one. Totally botched the ending of this game. And it's too bad because we know Bochy to be a master of the bullpen. I do not even care what the thought process or reason is. Bruce Bochy putting in Tinoco is a reason, a big reason why we lost this game. There's no reason he needed to be anywhere near this one. Period. Period. Let's look up and down the Rangers box score really quick. Corey Seager, Does not go deep today. Man, that would have been nice. 5 straight games with a home run. We sure could have used that from Seager. Look, not going to put this one on Seager, not coming through. It's really, really difficult to hit 5 homers in 5 straight games. So I'm not going to get on Seager today. He goes 1 for 4 with the run scored. Simeon 0 for 4. Simeon is having a rough stretch right now. Rough stretch. So back to back games, Marcus can't come through with the bases loaded. And excuse me, he had one game with the bases loaded. And then yesterday, he had an opportunity to tie the game in the top of the ninth and couldn't come through. So Marcus has had back to back games where he had a chance to tie or win the game for us and wasn't clutch. And then you've also got him going 0 for 4 today. Yeah, this was an inexcusable loss. What's up, by the way? You know I appreciate the comments. Thanks for joining in. We've been talking about the terrible, terrible decision of bringing Tinoco into this game. No reason Tinoco even needed to be at the stadium today. He doesn't need to be on the big league club, period. And I don't even care what the reasoning is. We've got an off day on Monday and an off day on Thursday. And I do feel really, really bad for Mike Lorenzen. A, he might be injured. B, he pitched an absolute gem. And Mike Lorenzen has been dealing his past 3 starts. The numbers are incredible for Mike Lorenzen these past 3 starts. And we've talked about how well Mike Lorenzen's been pitching. Lorenzen goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 6 total base runners in 6 innings. My goodness, Mike Lorenzen has been absolutely, absolutely dominant his past 3 starts. I mean, you cannot at all get on Mike Lorenzen. Yes, he had the bases loaded walk today. That was not ideal to start the game, but he settled down, only gave up that 1 run with the bases loaded walk. So his past 3 games, Mike Lorenzen is 19 and a third innings pitched, 3 earned runs. 19 and a third, 3 earned runs, Mike Lorenzen. Dude has been absolutely killing it the past 3 starts, and he has 0 wins to show for it. So Mike Lorenzen has been that good in his last 3 starts, and he's actually 0-1. They lost the game against the Angels that he pitched, where he went 6 and a third with 2 earned runs, and he took no decisions in the Cleveland game. And in this Minnesota game, he takes a no decision as well. I would be absolutely, absolutely hacked if I was Mike Lorenzen as well. That this offense can't do anything when he pitches, much like Andrew Heaney. It's pretty much every Ranger starter. Arena, Heaney, and then, of course, Lorenzen. They throw great, well enough to win, and get no run support. It's the story of the year. It's the story of the year. Mike Lorenzen, what a find. What a find, Mike Lorenzen, just to get him in the big league club and for him to contribute like he's been contributing. Mike Lorenzen is been such a great story for the Rangers. It's sad that we're not backing him up and that the offense is this terrible when he pitches. And we have to reflect on the offense today. Again, 3 runs is not enough. We were lucky to have a 3-1 lead because Mike Lorenzen was dominating. Let's not sit around and pretend like 3 runs was enough today. The offense absolutely needs to tack on more runs late. So you have 0 for days from Simeon, from Smith, from Nate Lowe, from Jonah Heim, from Evan Carter. Evan Carter is in a bad way right now. We talked about Evan Carter last night. Not going to go big time in depth on Evan Carter, but they're going to have some decisions to make on him pretty soon. I don't think you can keep letting him hit over against righties, going over against righties. You're benching him against lefties. They're going to have to make a decision on Evan Carter here pretty quick. He might need a send down. I know there's nobody better, but he's hitting 190 on the season. It's really unfortunate. The Rangers really took a little bit of a gamble. I don't know if it was a gamble at the time, but we're going to use that word nonetheless. They gambled on Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford being major league ready and contributing at the major league level, and it hasn't happened. We'll see if Wyatt Langford comes back and the rehab assignment maybe has a little bit of an effect, a positive effect on his overall approach and swing at the plate. But at this point, the Rangers gambled that both of those guys were going to be contributors at the big league level, and they absolutely have not been so far this season. Evan Carter has had some stretches where he's looked good, but 0 for 3 with a strikeout today. Evan Carter, 190 on the year. OPS is at 640. Evan Carter is going to find himself back in AAA here pretty soon if he continues to play this poorly. I never thought I'd be saying that. I never thought I'd be saying that. But at this point, my plan for Evan Carter would be this: send him down, bring him back in a couple of weeks, assuming he's actually doing well in AAA, and then play the guy every day. Stop with the platoon BS. Play the guy every day. That's what I would like to see. I think that the platoon thing has hindered his progression. He wasn't doing this platoon thing all the way through September and in the postseason. They were not benching him against every lefty. At least I don't feel like they were. But for me, they did the platoon thing to him way too soon. Way too soon. And I think that the rhythm of an MLB player is very important. We've talked about this. These MLB players are creatures of habit. And you had Evan Carter in the minors playing every day, right? So when you bring him up to the major leagues, and now you've only got him playing every other day, 2 out of 3 days, for me, it messes with the timing. It absolutely messes with the timing. Now, I do think going back, I'm just kind of checking comments as we go through this loss. This is kind of therapy for us at this point, y'all. I know some of you guys are in the same boat. We we got to talk these out sometimes, especially losses like this one. It would have been nice to have Spores. Spores, I don't know what his timetable is right now. Josh Spores has not looked awesome this year, but you know what? He's been in some very clutch situations for the Rangers. It surely wouldn't hurt to have a guy like Josh Spores. The seventh inning is a tough inning right now for the Rangers. So Leclerc pitched last night. I don't know why Leclerc couldn't have gone again. I don't think it would have been like his third day in a row pitching. So I'm not sure why they didn't even think to go Leclerc tonight. Who would you rather have, Tinoco or Leclerc? Now, I know we don't have a lot of Leclerc fans, but at the same time, I'd rather have Leclerc out there than Tinoco. I would have gone David Robertson 2 innings, seventh and eighth. But look, Leclerc to me would have been the next best thing if you're not going to go Robertson 2 innings, seventh inning, eighth inning. I just think the decision to bring in Robertson in the seventh inning to clean up Tinoco's mess affected him the rest of the way. It's more stressful when you come into a game with runners on. It just is. It's more stressful. The pitching is more stressful. And I think that does have an effect on you the rest of the way. So for me, bring in Robertson in a clean seventh and in a clean eighth. And if they beat you, then they beat you. But I think starting out Robertson with those pressureful pitches, with those stressful pitches to begin his outing today, I think it made a difference in the eighth inning. I really do. Again, tip your hat to Alex Kirilloff. Dude hit a David Robertson slider that was about a foot below the zone out of the field for a homer. You got to tip your cap to him. I don't want to see any David Robertson slander at all today. There's no David Robertson slander needed today. David Robertson pitched very, very well considering the circumstances that he was brought into. After he gives up the bomb, yeah, it was the right thing to move Yates in and take Robertson out. There's no need to burn Robertson. Hopefully, you can still get Robertson back tomorrow pitching in a tight ball game. Hopefully, the offense can score 7 or 8 runs and it doesn't need to be a tight ball game. That sure would be nice. You know, there's nothing that says that the Rangers can't score 7 or 8 runs and not play every single game 1-2 run type ball game. I mean, seriously. So look, I blame the offense as well for the loss today. 3 runs isn't enough. It's not enough. And you know what? I'm glad that they finally, for once, tacked on runs in multiple innings, right? Fourth, fifth, sixth. But no crooked numbers today for the Rangers offense. They could have taken advantage of some scoring opportunities, could have added on more than one run in some of those innings. They didn't. So I blame the Rangers offense as much as I blame Bruce Bochy and his terrible decision to bring in Tinoco into this ballgame. So offense, to me, not good enough. You had too many guys going over today that you absolutely need to be contributing, adding on runs late. Simi goes over, Jonah Heim goes over, Nate Lowe goes over, Evan Carter goes over. You had Seager going 1 for 4, Dolly going 1 for 4. Look, Dolly had a nice hit on the ground rule double, but then he whiffed 3 times. And I know y'all saw some of those Dolly at bats. As good as it was to see him hit the ground rule double, for me, some of those strikeouts, Adolis Garcia just looked absolutely terrible. I mean, some of those strikeouts were on pitches that were not even close. So to me, I don't want to say Dolly gets lucky on that ground rule double. He's a professional hitter, but some of Dolly's strikeouts were terrible on pitches that are a foot above the zone, a foot outside of the zone. Dolly to me is not right at this moment. And I would really, really like to see him have better at bats, right? A better eye up at the plate. When Dolly is at his best, he has an outstanding eye at the plate. He's taking the bad pitches and he is driving the pitches that are in his wheelhouse. Right now, he's free swinging up there, swinging at crap, and it's not going well. So Dolly whiffs 3 times today, did come up with the RBI ground rule double that scored a run. The brightest spot for me in the Rangers lineup today was Ezekiel Duran and Leody Taveras, 2 guys that I've definitely harped on and criticized in the past. I got to give them their flowers today. Leody was smoking the ball all over the ballpark today, even when he got out. I mean, on Leody's out, it was right after Dolly, I think, hit a ground rule double. Leody was smoking the ball today. I mean, he had a one in the gap that should have been another double. I think it was Kirilloff playing right field. No, it wasn't. It was Kepler playing right field. Made a great play on the ball. They had him positioned well. I can't criticize Leody at all today. And that should have been, I believe, made it 3-1 at that point. So Dolly hits the ground rule double, top of the fourth with 1 out, right? Then after that, you had Taveras coming up, and Taveras hits the ball in the gap that gets caught. And then after that, Nate Lowe comes up, I believe, and isn't able to come through in the top of the fourth. Let me go back to the right now. Yep, Nate Lowe is called out on strikes. We got to talk a little bit about Nate Lowe, guys. Got to talk a little bit about Nate. The dude was hitting 300 over 2 weeks ago. It was just 2 weeks ago he was hitting over 300. Nate Lowe has dropped down to 250. Nate Lowe has just fallen off a cliff these past 2 weeks. In that top of the fourth at bat that I'm referencing, so Dolly hits the ground rule double, Leody smokes one in the gap, and it was just played perfectly by the Twins. Max Kepler makes a great catch on a ball back to the track that Leody just absolutely blasted. And then Nate Lowe comes back, and I took a screenshot of the MLB at bat, strike zone where it shows you where all the pitches are. First of all, Nate Lowe took a pitch right down the middle for strike 3 in that top of the fourth inning with Dolly on third base and a chance to extend the lead. And he had taken another pitch in that at bat middle in. So for me, Nate Lowe just has no confidence right now up at the plate, just no confidence. You're taking pitches right down the middle for strike 3 when you've got runners in scoring position. It's frustrating. Evan Carter, I think, is kind of been stymied by the same thing. You see Evan Carter taking a lot of pitches right now, and it's really, really evident with the body language. Both of those guys, it's just not going well. It's not. And you're right. So many guys are not going well right now, and we have been going kind of guy to guy in this lineup, given our critiques. But Leody and Zeke Duran, who had a homer today, Zeke Duran did, can't complain about them. I mean, look, those guys did more than what you expect from them. Good to see Leody, though, hitting in the 5 spot. and coming through and producing. I know I was kind of just introduced to this last night. Aaron, I think you brought it up. I am shocked to hear that there are Rangers fans that don't like this lineup that Bochy put out today. I'm glad he's at least trying to do something different. Look, at least they got 3 runs today. They've been in a rut of only scoring 2 or less. At least they got 3 today. So I'm a fan of the lineup from today. Is Smith your ideal 3-hole hitter? No. Has he really been performing from the 3 spot? I mean, he had a couple of games where he had some 2-out RBIs, I think. But I'll take mixing up the lineup. It can't be any more terrible than what the Rangers offense has been at this point, right? It just sucks today, y'all. This was a winnable game. It really was. And I do feel like the coaches made some very bad decisions with the bullpen. Again, I don't even care what the reasoning is on Tinoco. Well, we wanted to, use him before he got DFA'd. We want to use him before we send him down. We knew he blah blah blah. I don't care. He doesn't need to be pitching in a 2-run ball game. Just doesn't. You could have thrown Leclerc. You could have thrown Robertson 2 innings. There was just no reason Tinoco needed to come into this game. I know I've harped on that long enough, y'all. We got to let it go and flush it out and get to tomorrow's game. Hopefully, we can salvage a win in this series. But this was a game that you could have and should have won, and you should be going for the series win tomorrow. And I don't know what the pitching matchups are. We're going to take a look at it here in just a second. Rangers go 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position today. And beyond that, I don't think the box score is going to reveal a whole lot else to us. It's ugly right now, guys. This is ugly. What we're watching, it's not good. And the sad thing is, tonight or today, we throw our best out there, albeit with a bad decision by the coaching staff to put in Tinoco, and the Twins beat us. Kirilloff takes a slider, a foot below the zone, out of the park. You got to tip your cap. It's not like Robertson center cut one and it just got blasted out of the stadium. It was not a mistake pitch. That's exactly where you want Robertson to be throwing that ball, a slider a foot below. Kirilloff just puts a better swing on it. It is what it is. But I would have liked to see Robertson come in a clean inning in the 7th, not have to come in with runners on first and second, 1 out after Tinoco inexplicably comes into the game. The other thing we talked about, these pitcher injuries, I think we've got to explore what's going on. The Rangers have to be trying to analyze what is it that we're doing that's leading to these pitcher injuries. If the Rangers medical staff is just sitting around and just saying what a lot of fans are saying right now, which is this is just dumb luck, World Series hangover, they're not doing their jobs right. This medical staff better be reflecting on why all these pitcher injuries are happening. The Josh Young injury on the position side, freak injury, not going to chalk that one up to anything the medical staff could have done. Maybe even the Urania injury last night, the leg. I'm assuming that's the only reason Urania came out of the game yesterday was the leg. But nevertheless, some of these pitcher injuries, you have Dunning, you've got Bradford, you've got so many guys, Gray, Evo, then you've got Lorenzen today. You've got to start reflecting on what's going on. The recovery process, right? The endurance, all that kind of stuff. I gotta think there is some big time people with their feet to the fire right now. Chris Young, CY in the front office, the owner, everybody is asking themselves why so many guys are getting hurt. And that there's some people with some pressure on them right now on the medical side of things. Why are so many of our best pitchers getting injured? And why does it keep happening? And why is it happening with such regularity? To me, this isn't dumb luck. This isn't World Series hangover. You have got to start reflecting on what it is the Rangers are doing on the medical training side of things that is leading to all these injuries. Even if it is dumb luck, which guys it could be. This could just be terrible luck. That is a possibility. I tend to think, though, there's probably something the Rangers could be doing better on the medical side to keep these guys healthy and on the preventative side of things, right? Because They do preventative workouts. They do preventative training, right, to prevent injuries, to build up endurance, things like that. So for me, hopefully the Rangers are working on that behind the scenes. But I know that if you ask the Rangers right now publicly, I don't even know if the media is even bothering to ask the Rangers. You guys know, so many media, they're in with the team. They're not going to be asking the hard-hitting questions. Some of them will, but I think a lot of them try and play nice with the Rangers. They're not going to ask them the hard-hitting questions. There's a couple of guys that I think do a nice job asking the tough questions. There's a lot of people that like to throw up meatballs. The Rangers aren't going to give you a good answer, anyways. They're going to say, we've got the best medical staff, blah, blah, blah. So you're not going to get a good public answer for the Rangers. But I do feel pretty confident that inwardly they are doing a lot of reflecting on what's going wrong. Now, guys, let's look at the matchup for tomorrow. We got to flesh this one out. It's too depressing to keep talking about it. Seriously, we got to move on to tomorrow's game. Then we'll break down the scores from around the AL West, and we'll wrap things up for today. So for tomorrow, Rangers have not announced the starter. It's another 1:10 start Texas time. So the Rangers have not announced the starter yet. If any of you guys hear post game who the Rangers are going to be throwing tomorrow, please let me know. Maybe it's going to be a bullpen game. I don't know who the Rangers really have. Do you pull up Jack Leiter again? I mean, I don't know. I would assume Tinoco is probably going to be either getting DFA'd or moving down, just based on what I heard. I don't think Tinoco is going to be with the big league club tomorrow. I would assume the Rangers are probably going to make some kind of move. Maybe they go back to Leiter. I don't think that's a great move, but it might be a necessary one. Maybe they call up Jack Leiter for the game tomorrow. I haven't heard anything. So right when I went live, I kind of turn off the notifications. So I haven't seen any notifications on who they might be thinking about for tomorrow. If any of y'all hear it, please put it in the comments. I greatly appreciate it. Who the Rangers are thinking about or what their plan is for tomorrow. Pablo Lopez is going for the Twins tomorrow. Pablo Lopez is a great pitcher. He isn't having a great year, 4.72 ERA. The good news, Pablo Lopez is a righty, so we're not facing a lefty tomorrow. I'll take a tough righty over a mediocre lefty at this point. It's sad to say, but I would rather the Rangers face a quality right-hander than a mediocre lefty. I mean, that's just how the Rangers offense is going right now. So hopefully tomorrow Rangers can salvage a win from this 3-game set before an off day, and then the Rangers will go back home to face the Diamondbacks in a World Series rematch. By the way, I'm going to do a little check here to see if the Rangers are going to have to face Monty. But looks like the numbers against Pablo Lopez are pretty decent. So Seager, 2 for 3 with the home run in his career. Simeon has a home run in his career off Lopez. I believe he's 1 for 6 with a homer. Leody has a home run off Pablo Lopez. Dolly has a home run off Pablo Lopez. Dolly's 3 for 6 with a bomb. Duran is 2 for 5 against Lopez. Nate Lowe is 1 for 3. So we got a lot of good numbers against Pablo Lopez tomorrow. So I'm encouraged by that. I hope that it ends up resulting in a Rangers offensive outpouring. I'm not trying to get greedy. I'll take 5 runs scored, y'all, tomorrow. I'll take a 5 spot tomorrow. Just something more than 4 runs, please. I don't. Again, we haven't scored more than 4 since the Oakland series. That feels like forever ago, that Oakland series. So at this point, I'm feeling encouraged by the numbers against Pablo Lopez. Tomorrow, I think the big thing is going to be, the bullpen, the middle relief. Who are we starting? That's going to make a big difference in this game. I feel like the Rangers might be able to put up some runs against Pablo Lopez. The problem is going to be the pitching because the Rangers are quite thin. I mean, John Gray probably would have been his turn, I would think. I don't know who they're going to go to now. Probably some kind of either opener, bullpen game, or maybe they're going to call up a starter from the minors. Maybe you call up Cole Winn to make a start. Although Cole Winn last night for Round Rock just took the loss. I don't know. I don't know what his stats were, but I believe Cole Winn pitched last night for Round Rock. So I don't know if he's going to be available. Owen White, I don't. Jack Leiter. I mean, none of these guys sound great to start, and a bullpen game doesn't sound great either. So tomorrow might be one of those high-scoring games. Maybe the Rangers just get lucky enough to score more runs than the Twins do, but I don't see tomorrow us getting a quality start out of the starter. I think tomorrow there's going to be some runs scored if I had to make a prediction right now. By the way, for those of y'all that weren't around yesterday, Wyatt Langford goes 1 for 4 with a walk yesterday. That hit he had was a single, I believe. Didn't see what the single looked like. If it was solid line drive, infield hit, don't know. But Wyatt Langford goes 1 for 4 tomorrow. 1 for 4 last night, excuse me. And the Round Rock Express have not played yet. Believe they play tonight. So hopefully he'll look a little bit better and continue to look better as he goes through these rehab games. But tonight in Round Rock, actually they're on the road, I believe, in Sugarland. Yep, they're in Sugarland tonight. Looks like they are pitching. We're pitching Owen White tonight. So Owen White is starting for Round Rock tonight. We'll see. We'll see and watch that. Maybe Owen White will get pulled to make a start for the Rangers tomorrow. That'd be a quick turnaround. He'd have to hop on a flight here pretty quick to get here for the game tomorrow. I would imagine it's got to be one of those guys, though. Owen White, Jack Leiter, somebody. I don't know. I don't know. It's it's definitely concerning. Just the Rangers running out of pitching options. They're gonna have to start looking outward externally if this gets much worse. If Lorenzen's gonna miss time, they've got to add a pitcher. They got to add somebody. I don't think that they can make it. I think Evo's going to be back soon, but even with Evo coming back, I think they've got to start thinking about adding a pitcher. The needs right now: bullpen, middle relief bullpen, right-handed bat, starting pitcher. I don't trust that all of the Rangers starters that are on the IL right now are going to stay healthy the rest of the year. I'd like to have an insurance piece in there and then have a good problem when everybody's healthy, who you're going to start. Whatever. They can go 6-man rotation if they have a spoil of riches with the pitching, whatever. I mean, that's a good problem to have. I'd like to see them go out and acquire somebody. That would be very, very ideal. So I don't know what CY in the front office are talking about at this point. We'll see. But at this point, please add a starting pitcher, add a bullpen piece, a middle relief guy that can bring some stability to the pen, and a right handed bat. This offense needs a pick me up. I'm hopeful that the Rangers will make some moves, but I'm telling you guys, if they drop 10 games below, they might not need to start thinking about selling. And that's the worst case scenario. But the reality is you can't drop 10 games below 500 with the Astros heating up and the Mariners being a great team and expect to get back into the race. It would take a big turnaround to drop 10 games below 500 and then become a playoff team. I think that 10 number is a big number where I'm going to start hitting the panic button, and you'll probably see my tune change a little bit when it comes to what the Rangers need to do moving forward. If for me, though, fresh off a World Series victory, I'm getting greedy and I'm trying to make some moves. If you swing and miss, you swing and miss, but I don't want to see the Rangers throw this season away. Help out this team. We've got some injuries, we've got some guys coming back. Go and add some pieces, inject some confidence into the clubhouse. You know that when the front office goes out and adds guys, it adds confidence to the team, right? It sends a message. You believe in them. And I think that that would go a long way. That's what I'd be trying to do. Don't know what CY is up to. I do trust in CY and think that he's got it under control. We'll see what ends up happening as we get closer to summer and the trade deadline. I'd like to see the Rangers be proactive. I'd like to see them be proactive, not wait till the trade deadline, not wait till Josh Young comes back from injury. I'd like to see them go and add some pieces early. The problem is you don't know who's in sell mode quite yet. Now, obviously, the Marlins came out kind of early and said, yeah, we're not expecting to win this season. And I know for some front offices, that's harder to admit than others. There are some teams, though, that I gotta think are starting to be in sell mode based on their current records right now. So we'll see. As I look at the standings, though, you've got a couple of teams that I think are in sell mode. I've got to think that the White Sox are in sell mode right now, 15 and 38. I've got to think that the Mets are starting to think about being in sell mode. I've got to think that the Reds potentially are thinking about sell mode. I've got to think the Rockies are thinking about selling at this point. So look, if I'm CY, I'm looking at those teams with terrible records, and I'm hopeful that they are willing to sell a right-handed bat, maybe some middle bullpen relief, a starting pitcher that can help me out. That's at this point what I'm shooting for and what my goal would be. All right, y'all. Let's go around the AL West, and let's see if we can get some scores and talk about the standings here. So right now, the Athletics are beating the Astros 2-1 in the bottom of the sixth. The A's are looking to tack on more runs. Hopefully that continues. So go A's the rest of the way. Let's keep the Astros a half game behind. Isn't that crazy? The Astros are a half game now. With the loss today, the Astros are even with us in the division. An Astros loss today would put them back a half game. A's are trying to tack on some runs in the bottom of the sixth inning. A's lead the Astros 2-1 in Oakland. And then beyond that, tonight, the Angels host the Guardians. And then we've got the Mariners right now tied with the Nationals 1-1 in DC. Nats are up to bat right now, one out, bottom of the sixth, tie game there. So go Nats, go A's, and go Guardians. All right, so hopefully we can get some losses around the division. I really, really hope that the Rangers can get lucky with some of our division foes not playing up to their potential either. It's not a good situation to be counting on other teams to lose, though. It's just not. All right, let's go to comments and let's wrap things up. We got to hope for the Stars to save the day, y'all. We need a Stars victory to keep this day bright. I am going to be watching that game tonight, and I am hoping to see a Game 2 Dallas Stars victory. They have got to make up for the Rangers losing terribly today. A couple more comments here. Let's check them out. They do need a DH. They need a righty DH. We've talked about options. Call one of those teams that I just brought up, one of the teams that's clearly out of it already, and see what they will give you. Get a right-handed bat that can DH. And for me, I would probably say Carter and Langford, give them till mid-June. And if they are still struggling, send them down. And you just got to deal with whoever you've got in the outfield. Jankowski, Grossman, Doley, right? And whoever else. I mean, for me, they've got to start thinking about what they're going to do if those guys continue to struggle. A part of me says send them both down, give them a 2-week reset in AAA, let them get the confidence back, and then bring them back and play them every day. That's exactly what I would do. I would be putting Langford and Evan Carter in the lineup every single day after a brief reset down in the minors. Both of those guys, you've got call ups, you've got options left. Neither one of them has been optioned yet in their career. So you've got plenty of options left on each one of them. And losing both of those guys isn't the reason why, or wouldn't be a reason why you would continue to lose. Evan Carter's giving you pretty much nothing right now. Wyatt Langford, of course, is injured. He's giving you nothing right now. So sending both of those guys down, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Give them 2 weeks. Hopefully, let them get some confidence back. Bring them both back up and play them every day and live with it. Unless, like a Derek Hill just absolutely tears it up while they're both down in the minor leagues, I would bring them both back up after a couple of weeks and let them play every day. I do think that has been a reason why Evan Carter has struggled, because you've decided, and when I say you've, I'm talking about Bruce Bochy in the front office, you've decided that Evan Carter is a platoon player. And that's not what Evan Carter did coming up through the minors. So I do think there is something to be said. You've messed with Evan Carter's rhythm. You've made him a platoon player, and that does affect some guys. Some guys are really good at doing it, and they've made a career off of it. But some guys, especially young guys who are like rookie phenoms, top prospects in your system, why are you intent on making them platoon players? So I would say for me, those are the two, those are some of the biggest things the Rangers are going to need to make a decision on here pretty quick. But I'd still like to see them acquire a right handed bat, middle relief, and look at some starters that are out there. See what you can get. I'm not really married to any of the Rangers prospects at this point. I'd like to see them hold on to Brock Porter. I don't want to see Brock Porter get traded. I wouldn't mind them trading Leiter. I know some people, some Rangers fans are going to absolutely turn their nose up at that idea. I wouldn't mind them trading Jack Leiter if they're going to get somebody controllable that can help right now and max out this World Series team. I wouldn't mind them trading Kumar Rocker. I don't think there's going to be any takers on Rocker. But you guys have to know, I've explained this. I'm not a big hold on to the prospects kind of guy. There are obvious prospects that you hold on to, like a Paul Skeens or a Bryce Harper when he was coming up through the minors. The Rangers don't have anybody like that right now. I would hold on to Brock Porter just because he's so young and you haven't really seen what he can do at the AAA level. So I'd hold on to Porter. I'd make him the untouchable, but I'd be willing to trade everybody else to make this team better right now. Get a controllable bat, a controllable arm, and make this team better. Max out the World Series window. Those of us that have been DFW sports fans, we know when the Mavericks won it all in 2011, they absolutely sold the team off the next year, didn't bring guys back, and that was a huge, huge mistake. They didn't max out the World Series window of Dirk Nowitzki. And right now, you've got a window with guys like Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon, max it out. I would hate to see them throw the towel in on this season. The Rangers have to max out this World Series window. It'll be a shame if they don't. It really will be. I'd like to see them be buyers. I'd like to see them help this team get better. This team's in a rut right now. Inject some positive energy, some confidence into the club by going out and making this a better team. They've got some pieces in the farm that I think you can trade away to get some good guys right now. And I don't think they need to be married to any prospect. The only guy that I'm not selling is Brock Porter. I don't know. I mean, you tell me if there's another untouchable in the Rangers farm system right now. Maybe even some of y'all would be willing to trade Porter. I think with Porter, you've got to allow him to at least play a little bit more competitive baseball before you decide what he is or what he is not going to be. But everybody else, for me, I've seen enough from. I think Jack Leiter could be a good second, third starter. I think that's kind of Jack Leiter's ceiling at this point. I don't think Jack Leiter is ever going to be bona fide number one ace. I hope to be wrong. I hope to be wrong, but that would be my prediction for Leiter. You're maybe trading away at best a second or third starter, a number two or number three starter. Let me put it that way in Jack Leiter. But if you're going to get somebody that can throw it well now and help your team now, I'm all for it. So tonight, Dallas Stars, go Stars. Hopefully they can bring the series even. We talked about the Mavs last night. Luka Doncic should have been the MVP this year, looking absolutely phenomenal in both of these wins. It's pretty clear to me who the best player in the NBA is. And I've felt this way for a long time. I don't know why Luka doesn't get more love in the MVP conversation year after year. This was definitely the year he should have won it, though. Jokic, SGA, whatever. But Luka, the game-winning shot, that's legendary stuff we saw last night from Luka. I hope that Mavs win. I hope the Mavs and the Stars can make up for the terrible, terrible play of the Texas Rangers right now. So we're going to go regroup and look to enjoy the Dallas Stars game tonight after flushing this terrible Rangers loss out of our system. Y'all know how much we appreciate all the comments you followed along, watching, liking. And if you haven't subscribed or followed along to our account yet and you're watching right now, would greatly appreciate if you did so. Thank you for the support. And I do always ask kindly if you would please share this with a Rangers fan. You know somebody who loves talking Rangers baseball, who loves the Texas Rangers. Share this video with them. Share our page with them. Share our account with them. Let's get this community built up a little bit. The more good people we can get together talking Rangers baseball, the better. That's why we started this account, this page, this channel in the beginning. And we hope that over time this can get bigger and bigger. So thank you for sharing this with another Rangers fan. It would be much appreciated. Well, I hope y'all have a better rest of the Saturday. Hope that the Stars can get a win for all y'all DFW sports fans tonight. And I hope to see you at some point this weekend, maybe tomorrow after the Rangers game, maybe on Monday. Either way, hope y'all have a great rest of the weekend, a good rest of the Saturday night tonight. And as we always say here at Right on Rangers, God bless and go Rangers.